Yes, it's true. I purchased yet another E39, and this one is a 5-speed manual transmission. As you can see here, it also has heated seats. This is the premium winter package, which is, to be honest, it's very unusual to find the heated seats and premium and winter package on a 5-speed transmission car. It's also quite unusual to find one of these cars that has the through loading option, which is BMW's fancy terminology for the fold down rear seats. And you can see the handles at the top corners there for the seats to fold down. Now, I found this car while I was pricing out the market to sell my last E39, the $400 one that I just sold, and I came across this one for sale locally. This was owned by a doctor at Yale New Haven Hospital, and he lived maybe 30 minutes from where I live. And this car was always garaged at the, during the day while the doctor was at work. It was in the parking garage in New Haven, and at home it was in his garage as well. So as a result, the leather in this car is immaculate. It's buttery soft. It's never been out in the UV damage all day long like most 20-year-old cars. And once I saw this car for sale, I just had to have it, and I picked it up for a really great price. In today's video, we're going to be replacing 2 pre-cat oxygen sensors located in the exhaust manifolds that attach to the cylinder heads on an M54 engine. Now, this repair is applicable to the E53 X5, the E39 5 Series, as well as the E46 3 Series sedan. So today we're going to be changing out the pre-cat oxygen sensors. One is located here to the front exhaust manifold, and one tucked away here in the back at the rear exhaust manifold. Now, what's interesting is you can see just how old these are by removing the harness here and taking a look at the stamp for the production date. So somewhere on here it is right here. We'll look up closely. I can see this says 01, which means the last time that these were replaced was 01 or 2002. And this is a 2002, so that does tell me these sensors are original with 190,000 miles. If you were to see something like 07 or 11, that would indicate that the sensors were produced in 2007 or 2011. Now, before we get started removing these, I'm also going to be replacing this vacuum line here for the secondary air valve. And this line is very easy to disturb, and it's brittle, and it often breaks during the replacement of those sensors. This is a factory BMW piece. It has some soft braided hose and then nylon at the end, and then this is a hard plastic hose here. And this goes all the way back behind the cylinder head and attaches to a vacuum valve on the intake manifold. I highly recommend replacing this while doing these pre-cat sensors because they pretty much always fall apart and disintegrate, and if it does, you won't get enough vacuum to this valve and it could cause another engine light. So with that in mind, knowing we will be replacing this, I'm going to remove the vanity cover here, and then this cowl, the fresh air cowl that goes to the cabin air filter on the passenger side as well. First, we'll pry up these clips. We'll pop the clips up here. And rotate this towards the driver's side of the car. And then pull it out. Now we have 2 10mm nuts here to remove. We'll remove the oil cap temporarily, then we can remove that vanity cover out of the way. And let's put the oil cap back on just in case we drop anything. Now, as you can see, we have full access to all of the harnesses here, and we'll simply remove each sensor from its clip. There's also a clip back here. And I can already feel here that our line that I just spoke about snapped while I was removing that oxygen sensor out of the way. This is super brittle and easy to break. And let's just pull that line off of our valve here. Sometimes you have to use a knife to score this and then pull the end of that vacuum line off of the nipple, and do this carefully so you don't break this nipple off because it can be fragile. And here it comes. So let's start by removing this first one here, since it's the easier one, and we'll simply unplug this harness here by squeezing the tabs. Now it's separated. We'll set this connector to the side. Now we'll use our special oxygen sensor tool to remove the sensor from the manifold. This is a 22mm or 7/8 oxygen sensor tool, and you can use several different ones. There's sockets. This is more of like a crowfoot style. This is the one I like to use. We'll link it in the description below. We'll put some extensions on here so we can reach it. Let's put one more on there. And we're going to turn this counterclockwise to break it loose. Just rotate it a few times. Be sure not to hit your ratchet too far over into these heat shields. And now that that is loose, we can just twist it, turn it counterclockwise until it comes out. Now, I don't expect this will ever be visible on camera, but if you look inside here, our timestamp production date here is 01. This car was made in maybe the 9th or 8th month of 2001. It's a 2002 model year, so these are original. Now, since this extension does come up in the way here, right next to the cabin filter box, I will just remove this so we have more access to loosen up that oxygen sensor. So I'll pull the clip out, remove the lid, and let's lift this up and away. Once again, we'll turn counterclockwise to break it loose. We'll get a few more turns on it with the ratchet until we can loosen it by hand. Just twist the harness here. Now it's threading out. And voila. And the production timestamp date on this one is also 01 or 2001. These were original to the car and definitely way overdue for being replaced. The typical lifespan on these is around 100,000 miles. This car almost has 200,000 miles. We'll guide this down and thread it in lightly by hand. Now, there's definitely a lot less space to do the one in the back, but do take your time and make sure you don't cross thread the threads of the sensor with the threads in the hole of the exhaust manifold. Once again, we'll slide our socket back on to tighten it up. And finally, we'll plug the harness back in. Let's connect our new vacuum hose and route it to the back of the cylinder head. We can reinstall the cabin air filter box and replace the clip and connect our lid. Now we can place these harnesses, the connectors here, into the clip that holds it into place. We'll just guide the vacuum line down in here against the valve cover. And we'll clip in the second one. I'll slide this metal heat shield back into the corner of the valve cover. Now we can replace our vanity cover and reinstall the two 10mm nuts. Okay, so our last step here is to connect our vacuum line to the back under here, and I'll show a photo of what that looks like at the attachment point. So let's follow our old tubing back here, release it from this plastic mounting tab by lifting up gently, popping that guy out, and then we're just going to follow this line, and we can feel on the end there's some vacuum line, some soft rubber hose that connects to a nipple underneath the intake manifold. It's located right here. Now it's hard to show this on camera, but you're going to need to remove this from that nipple under the intake, and that's where the new attachment point will also be. Now I was able to just rip this because it was so brittle. As you can see, this stuff just pulls apart and crumbles. I'm slowly working away with my thumbnail, just breaking apart this old crumbly tubing, and I was able to get it off the nipple. I'm going to put my phone down here with a flash and try to take a photo of it, and I will put that in the video right here. Then we can reinstall this channel for the cabin air filter and snap it into place. And there you have it, we're ready for the next project. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you want to see more E39 videos, check out the link in the end of this video. I will link to my E39 playlist where there are around 100 videos. If this video was helpful, please click that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.